All right, standing here with Meg from Keene.
Hi.
New Hampshire liberty activist.
I just took off my sunglasses. It's really bright.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
That was my fault. You're 3 years old in New Hampshire now, right? Roughly?
Almost 3. Like, I moved here right after the Ron Paul campaign.
Yep.
And so, almost 3 now. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you some questions about making the move that I don't ever ask anyone else, and I don't know why I've never asked them before, but I'd like you to tell me a little about some of your #1 accomplishments since you moved here. What was the thing you're most proud of, or a couple things?
Well, as far as my accomplishments, there was one case where in Keene we've been having troubles with the judges and cameras in the courtrooms and stuff like that, and they moved Nick Ryder's trial back to the Star Chamber. And before, cameras had never been allowed in, and I stood up and I made a really big stink about it, and they ended up having to let me in. And so we managed to get cameras back there, which was a big problem because once they're back, you know, the bureaucrats are back in the room with people, you don't know what goes on in there, and it can be kind of scary. So getting cameras back there was a big, big step for me personally. And then participating in the 420s, I mean, downtown Keene, waiting for this.
420s are 420s, for those who don't already know, are basically protests where people will
we like to call them celebrations.
Or, yeah, celebrations where people will just go smoke marijuana in some public place and announce it.
Smoke marijuana because, you know, it's just a plant and it's a personal choice and people shouldn't be taken to jail for it. And there was some arrests the first few days, but now we've basically created a demilitarized zone downtown Keene. You know, we have this thing called night camp now where we go every single night, just meet up and smoke at like 11 o'clock at night, and then there's 420 going on every day, and so it's, you know, a regular safe place to go smoke, which is amazing, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we've done here.
Going back to the court thing, how did that play out exactly? You're in the room and you just stood up and started talking to the judge, or what? How did it?
Well, I think it was because Sam was outside on the megaphone, and there was a lot of noise and people were getting distracted, so he moved the whole thing and he pointed to Nick and he's like, "You can come," and he points to one of Nick's buddies who was sitting at the table with him, and he's like, "You can come," and then he points to me and he's like, "You can't come." And so I just walked right over to his little wormy guy, I don't know what he is, it's like a bailiff or something, and I just said, you know, I filed a motion, I filled out your paperwork, and you have to give me a reason in writing why I can't film, and I need that now, otherwise you have to let me back there. And he didn't really know how to respond to that, so he went back and talked to the judge, and finally the judge, it was Burke, gave in and said, like, yeah, we have to let her in. So that was how one went.
I've seen him do that too.
Yeah.
You know, where, you know, someone will say to him, "Hey, you know, I'm going to do this and that," and he did something that was banned, you know, the week before. "Oh yeah, I look closer at the rules, and yeah, actually you can do that." But at least, I mean, it's good to be able to admit you're wrong, and he has done that, you know, on at least one occasion. I do appreciate that.
On a few occasions.
But I wish I could say more things that I appreciate.
Yeah, there's very little nice things to say, but when they do those things, I think it's important to highlight on those and really bring them out and tell them how much we appreciate it, even though we shouldn't have to ask in the first place. But when they don't use aggression, when they finally come around, we have to, you know, support them in that. Otherwise, they're just going to think, well, these people are awful no matter what we do, so might as well be mean back. And so when you're nice,
so that was
helps.
one of your biggest successes. And what would you say for people who are coming and trying to make a bigger success than you, or trying to match you? What do you think are the most efficient paths, you know, for getting something done now?
Well, for me, I mean, a lot of the, you know, civil disobedience type people, they really like creating that controversy and creating those scenes so that they can make big splashes, and that's a great thing, and I think it's good. And while I don't technically agree with going along with the rules, when I do civil disobedience, I tend to be a bit different. I tend to approach it more with an open heart for the bureaucrats, and I tell them, you know, I'm doing this for you because you're on the losing side of a war, and I want to help you, and I don't want it to get to that point. And I think they respond much better, and the fact that I'm a girl doesn't hurt. You know, I've recorded in the illegal recording lobby with no problems because I'm a girl, and they just sort of come up and tell me to make it look like I'm not taking video or something.
Pretend like you're obeying us.
Yeah, and so, you know, when you approach them with a much nicer, open heart, and, you know, really try and make them see that you're not just doing this for yourself, you're doing it for everybody.
Yeah.
They're much more open to it, and I haven't been arrested yet, which is good. I have been served with papers for criminal trespassing when I didn't actually trespass anywhere, but, you know, apart from that, I do participate in civil disobedience, but I think because of the way I approach it, I've never been arrested, or even, I've been threatened with it, but not, you know, to the point where they're going to go after me, because I do make it to the point where they're going to look like jerks, because I'm so freaking nice to them, and I'm just going to make them look as bad as possible if they try anything. And so it really does touch their hearts when, you know, they see that, okay, I'm going to have to be the douche in this situation.
All right, well, Meg, stay at it.
Will do.
Thanks for what you do out there, and we'll see you out there in the liberty movement in New Hampshire.
Woo, yay.